Hi, everybody. Happy Wicked Wednesday and welcome to Shivers. Some of the best movies that exist are ones that leave us on the edge of our seats or defy expectations from what we see in commercials. Today, we'll be talking about movies that don't necessarily fall in the horror category, but have real life scares that make you leave the theater feeling like you watched a horror movie. The first one to talk about today is Promising Young Woman. This is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I don't think it gets the praise that it deserves. We focus on a character named Cassie Thomas, a 30-year-old medical school dropout who lives with her parents and works at a coffee shop. When she was in college, her classmate Alvin Rowe raped her best friend Nina Fisher, who attended the same school, which led to Nina committing suicide. There was no investigation by the school or consequences from the legal system. Now, as a 30-year-old, Cassie has basically taken to the streets to find these men who consider themselves as nice men or nice guys and see what they do when she comes up to them when she's drunk or inebriated or anything like that. And so she's basically this sleuth and detective marking down and luring all of these men in who take advantage of her or try to take advantage of her when she's drunk and fake drunk. So it's a very poignant movie about things in our regular society. It's the fears that all really women have going out. Watch your drink, keep your keys close, have a friend, keep your phone on you. All of these things that make real life pretty scary sometimes. And so it's definitely going to be a great movie to watch and leave you with an interesting taste in your mouth. So the next movie to talk about is Gone Girl. We mentioned this movie a while ago when talking about the thriller category, but Gone Girl is a movie that really does one of the best jobs at subverting expectations. It revolves around Nick and Amy, and we follow the couple through their somewhat tumultuous marriage until one day Amy goes missing. After a very long movie, we find out that Amy has constructed this whole missing persons thing herself and has left no details up to chance. So it's very, very different than what you would expect. It is not this whodunit mystery missing person movie. It is, what did this woman do? How did she plan this all out? It's so elaborate and very interesting. And another movie that kind of falls under the same category is The Simple Truth, and that is the same thing. So it's these fears of what people are capable of and what the people who are closest to you are capable of as well. So the next movie to talk about is Willy Wonka. This is a classic film recreated by Tim Burton as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, but Willy Wonka is this colorful thrill ride for kids and adults alike. The idea is that there are a select few children who win a golden ticket to visit Willy Wonka at his chocolate factory and discover that not everything is sunshine and rainbows. Each child brings a parent or guardian with them, and the group commences on this adventure through the colorful factory. We walk past Oompa Loompas, which are seemingly modern day slaves, and the children get sucked up, blown up, or trapped by the machines in the factory, leaving one survivor as the winner. The winner, Charlie, ends the messed up tour by finding out that he will inherit the factory as Willy Wonka is done and burnt out. The idea of giving a child the keys to a candy factory is alluring for everybody, but what's really behind the mask? And of course, we always have to mention the very scary chocolate river scene. It is this demented scene of creatures and bugs and all of this stuff, and it has nothing to do with the movie whatsoever, but it is very brainwashy and creepy. So that alone will make this scary, but also it's the message of life isn't always greener and what would really happen if kids ruled. So the next movie to talk about is Coraline, kind of stemming off of the same thing of this marketed children's movie that is scary. Coraline is always my choice as one of the scariest movies of all time. The storyline revolves around a young girl named Coraline, who moves into a new home in a new city with her mother and her father. They kind of brush her off and mostly focus on their work, leaving her to explore the home and the grounds on her own. She talks to a young boy who lives there, and he says that his grandma owns the home but won't go there because her sister disappeared there many, many years ago. Coraline's move is less than great for her overall until she wakes up one night and finds her way through a secret door to her other family, this mirrored house and family in a world where everyone has button eyes. She ventures to the other family each night in an attempt to have some fun, and Coraline becomes in love and in awe with this place, telling her normal mother and father that she wishes she could be back in the other world forever. After making that wish, she goes back to the other world, and things turn awry. The other mother becomes somewhat threatening and gives Coraline the opportunity to join them forever by having her eyes be replaced by buttons. She attempts to talk to her about this with her newfound friend who's in this other world, but he can't talk. And we find out that this was a punishment from the other mother to keep him quiet. When we find out that the other mother is this representative of a child eater, we find out that she keeps the souls of past children trapped behind a mirror in the hallway after they accepted her button ideal. Coraline then, after finding all of this out, challenges the other mother to a game of hide and seek and says that she and the other kids can be freed if the other mother loses. She shakes on this. The game is a deal, and the other mother does everything that she can to cheat. But Coraline succeeds and finds out that one of the kids that she freed was the homeowner's sister whose soul was trapped there all of these years. It's a very colorful movie. It's very fun to watch, very action-oriented, but it is nothing short of a horror movie in my eyes. And the overall idea of be careful what you wish for just rings very loudly in those streets. So that is definitely one to add to this list for sure. And the last movie to mention for today is The Lovely Bones. The Lovely Bones, if made today, would definitely be a trigger warning type of movie. But we follow Susie Salmon, this young, innocent teen. She follows her neighbor one day to his clubhouse after school, only to be trapped there and then murdered by him. We then spend the rest of the film following Susie from her perspective in the afterlife, watching her family from afar and feeling rage over her death, knowing that she can't really do anything to prevent him from striking again, and from her family finding out the truth. It's really a very haunting story about the struggles with grief and dealing with the unknown, but it is marketed as a drama fantasy, not a horror. So this, I think, is the closest movie that will get to a true grief and a true horror movie of people who have gone through grief. So it is something that is definitely worth the watch and may leave you feeling a little gross after you watch it, but it is going to leave a stain for sure. So there are so many more seat-grabbing stories and movies out there, but these are our highlights for today. So thank you for listening to today's Wicked Wednesday. For those of you interested in keeping the conversation going, be sure to join the Shivers Meetup page so you too can be part of all things spooky.